What's up, everybody? ATO Ace the Outsider here with the Wakanda Alliance. First and foremost, shout out to all the women out there. It is Women's History Month. Women's Future Month is how I'm also acknowledging it. All the powerful women who have done great things, and every little thing that y'all do is just so amazing. Whether you are a mother or an auntie or a cousin or a friend, who's making history in your own unique way, who's giving love to somebody who needs it, who's taking care of things that need to be taken care of. We appreciate, we salute you, whatever career path you chose, whether you wanted to be an engineer, aerospace technician, or a hairstylist, or a stay-at-home mother, a teacher, nurse, doctor, all these other different things that are just so pivotal to our society. Y'all can do anything and more. That's how we're looking at it. So from the Wakanda Alliance, in the bottom of my heart personally, happy Women's History Month, happy Women's Future Month. So in recognizing that, the Wakanda Alliance program, if you haven't seen our posts, we are highlighting two dope women who are in STEM, who are in science, technology, engineering, and math fields in the comic book world, and that is Shuri and Riri. So, as they like to call them in the comics, Shuri. So Shuri and Ironheart, both two great characters. I've talked about them before on our page, and we're just lifting them up because it's Women's History Month, and I don't know if it's a Black STEM month, but we're also highlighting Black people in STEM, and those are two very great minds who need to be highlighted more, especially because they're going to be in the next Black Panther movie together, and that's going to be in November, as y'all know. So we got to lift them up. We got to start this year off right. February, we kind of did a little bit. Now we're going all the way into it. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Also, in observance of Women's History Month, Women's Future Month, and celebrating Black people in STEM, we're starting a new program. Okay, so Wakanda Alliance program is its own program. We also have the Wakanda Academy for Gifted Afrofuturists, and now we're starting a new initiative called Shuri's STEM Lab. Right, so of course, named after Shuri for obvious reasons, but of course, as a young Black girl in STEM going through her trials and tribulations, she's a great mind, really pivotal character in the Black Panther mythos, and we wanted to create, something around that. So we have an engineer, a woman who is into robotics, who's into engineering, award-winning at that, and she wanted to help build a curriculum with us to help facilitate those skills and help try to get kids into understanding how engineering works and how calculations work, and not even just like, oh, we're gonna build a supercomputer and Kamoyo beads and all that, but just like the mindset behind there's a need for a technology, let's put something together and let's solve whatever that is with a technological solution. So those are the things we're going to be talking about. So we're working on, can I disclose what's going to happen yet? I'm trying to keep that Wakanda spirit to be like, this is the wall. We're gonna show you some good stuff. We've got a lot of stuff going on back here. But yeah, we're gonna play around with some robotics. We're gonna play around with some analog technology. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be super great. So in order to do that, we are looking to get more funding for these types of things. So if you go to our webpage, we have a page dedicated for Shuri STEM Lab that you can click and you can donate. You can either donate an X amount of money, or you can also sponsor with a computer. So if you have a computer to donate, a laptop to donate, preferably something that's mobile, that would be great. We would truly appreciate that. But that's on our website if you go to www.thegalactictribe.org. So we appreciate that. So women in STEM, keeping it rolling. As for our events this month, we have one this Saturday, March 12th at 12 p.m. If you're in the Buffalo or Western New York area, you can come in person. We'll be at our usual address, 938 Genesee Street, Buffalo, New York. Or if you're looking in from a distance, you're more than welcome to join us via Zoom. All right, so if you have the Zoom app, you have the Zoom application on your computer, phone, whatnot, you can go to our link the day of the event. You can click on that link tree and you'll see a section for the Zoom room, which you can just click and that'll take you right to where our event is happening. So you can interact with us. You can either use the chat, you can come in verbally, come in visually, and talk to us. We truly encourage that, all right? And we'll take turns reading comics. We'll talk about whatever subject matter we got going on that day. It's going to be a great time. So we have one event this Saturday featuring one of a dope musician. His name is Covito. He's going to be showcasing his beats and his understanding of production work. All right, so that's gonna be pretty cool. And then the next event we're gonna have is gonna be nuts, y'all. So March 26th, which is yours truly, my birthday. Every season we in here, Ram Game, Ram Game. March 26th, the same time, we're going to have an event. Also around the whole STEM thing, whole celebrating women in technology. That's going to be a great event as well. Who's going to be on the bill for that? We're going to have, oh man, we got a brother named Nelson Clark. All right, he's here locally in Buffalo. He is a mathematician, and he's also into ancient African origins. So what he's bridging the two things together: mathematics and African origins. All right, so we reached out to the brother. He was doing some presentations around town, bridging the gap between African history and mathematics, especially for us people who are descendants of the African continent. And there's a lot of different things around Africa that were happening in mathematics, and a lot of things that got missed and got cut out and got totally ignored, as far as like how they looked at the stars, astronomy, how they looked at chemistry, alchemy, how they looked at all these different things, architecture even, and all that comes down to math, right? Whether it is calculating the angles of the stars, whether it is the distance between one body of energy and another body of energy, and how that relationship is shared, or counting. We had rulers, we had different types of tools we used. We had a prehistoric calculator, right? We had the first one of those. So all these different things that are reflected in our society today are stemming from things that were happening in Africa thousands and thousands of years ago. All right, so those are the types of things that Brother Nelson is going to be talking about on March 26th. So I definitely encourage you to join in on that. All right. As far as the comics we're going to cover, this Saturday we're going to be covering Ironheart #2. It continues the story that Riri's going through. She's got her own lab at MIT, but the dean at MIT is tripping and trying to barge in on her territory. So she's going through that. She's also having flashbacks of her a traumatic incident in which she lost her best friend and her stepfather. So she's going through a lot. So we're going to be talking about some of those things that she's going through as a young black genius, a young black female genius. All right. And then on the 26th, we're going to be covering my man Blue Marvel. Oh man, if you don't know about Blue Marvel, let me tell you something. Blue Marvel is that boy. He is that man. All right. For him to be another great, powerful mind in the Marvel universe. Maybe not like Reed Richards. Maybe it's more or less like Tony Stark somewhere. But he's still a fantastic mind, scientist. He's definitely got the boat for it. All right. So listen, if Reed Richards come out talking crazy, my man Blue Marvel gonna handle that. But yeah, he's a dope character. He's just a great character, and we're super excited to talk about him, especially with a Miss Marvel movie coming out, I believe later this year, if not sometime after. Yeah, so that's gonna be a great conversation. I think they setting up the Ultimates, y'all. I think they're gonna set it up. Okay, they got Monica Rambeau. All right, they got Captain Marvel. They got I think they're doing an America Chavez. All right, they got T'Challa. I don't care what none of y'all say. All right, T'Challa's coming back. Okay, Disney. Yeah, I'm just saying though, Disney, I better come on. So yeah, and if they have Blue Marvel, that's gonna complete the whole thing. So that's gonna be super great if they go with the Ultimates. Even if it's just like a team up, just like a one-time thing, that's all we need as Marvel fans, is to see that happen. All right, so that's gonna be pretty great. Looking forward to that. Speaking of all things Wakanda, should I save this? I do want to get into Batman. All right, I do want to get into it just a little bit. I might save that for a live. I'm gonna talk about it right now. So one friend, I saw an article saying that Batman, the new one that just came out, grossed X amount of dollars for its opening weekend. And I'm like, yo, that's great, cool, but I think Black Panther 2 is gonna blow that out the water. And I'm not saying that it's gonna be a better movie, right? Because Marvel, DC, they do movies differently. DC has like the gritty, they got the more gritty type of dark atmosphere for their movies, which is fine. That's great. I think they do that exceptionally well. And then Marvel has this way of doing movies, right? It's not like super dark. It's not super, at least not any of the movies. Like some of the some of the shows, maybe the Punisher and maybe the Moon Knight that's coming up soon, maybe they might take a real dark turn, if anything. But for the most part, there's a lot of jokes. There's a lot of like, excitement and whatnot. And Black Panther 2 is most likely going to be a tone of like something you can enjoy, something that's lighter and and gripping and riveting, and just more flamboyant as far as storytelling and direction goes. So, but as far as the numbers, listen, man, the main thing is that usually movies that do the most grossing amounts, especially like action movies, they're usually sequels. So Spider-Man No Way Home is up there, Avengers Endgame is up there, right? But Black Panther, for it to be its first entry in its series, though, even though Black Panther T'Challa was in Civil War before that, for Black Panther to do the numbers it did, to be on that I want to say top 10 or top 20 most grossing films of all time, in the U.S., for it to be as high as it is in that list, compared to like all the other movies that were like sequels to movies that it's the first entry, all right. And that's why I'm saying the next film after that, because people know what to expect now. Like that opening weekend, as much hype was around that movie, not everybody was still on that movie. Like how they grossed throughout the span of it being in theaters, that's one thing. But that opening weekend, you know what I'm saying? So I'm feeling like that opening weekend is going to be nuts. So to all y'all boycotting this movie, cut it. All right, cut it. Okay, this is Wakanda we are talking about. All right, yes, we do need T'Challa. We do need to have a T'Challa. We do need to have our Black King in here, repping, being the scientific prowess that he is, running the country, being the total badass that he is. We definitely need that. 100% yes. If we don't get it for this movie, that's one thing, okay? But we still have to support the people who are putting their work in to make this film happen, and still have to keep that momentum. All right, that's a big task, and I fully support that. All right. Of course, Disney's got to do right by representing everybody the right way, okay? Whether it is a fictional character or a person who is on our side of existence, has to be represented the proper way. But I think that film is going to do astrological numbers. Putting that down on wax right now. So moving on. Speaking of everything Wakanda, the big news right here, it is that we are launching a campaign of sorts, right? And that is to bring more attention to Wakanda, and for Marvel and Disney to really look at Wakanda as what it is and what it can be, and like how it can really hit home for the people of the African diaspora. When it comes to making movies, you can only do so much. When it comes to making TV shows, you can only do so much as far as expressing certain characters, certain atmospheres, certain cultures, right? But there are so many characters in Wakanda as a mythos right now. Okay, so not this just T'Challa, but all the expanding characters, especially with the 5 Galaxy expansion with the Intergalactic Empire, that left a lot of room for like more stories to be told. All right, again, we've talked about this before on the Wakanda Alliance, but man, listen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 galaxies. That is Star Wars times 5. You see what I'm saying? So and think about all the stories that Star Wars has, all the side characters. It's not just about the Jedi. It's not just about Luke. It's about all the other characters. They got Boba Fett. They got, all of this. And even though this has happened over the course of 30 plus years, we still have to acknowledge that, listen, Marvel has the capabilities to really dive into the stories of different characters. And sometimes characters are touch and go. Sometimes they show up. Sometimes they go away. They might die. They might get, put in the background somehow, like Hunter, who I think is coming back for the current series, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, so we think that Marvel could really capitalize on, and not capitalize as in monetarily, but really like go into how pivotal these characters can be, and by putting the right people in charge of doing it, right? Having Black writers, having Black authors, Black animators, Black engineers, all these people who can be involved in building Wakanda up. Whether it is in a comic or a cartoon series or a podcast or even like a social event, right? I think that Marvel could do more social events, kind of like what the Wakanda Alliance program is doing, and like, you know, hire people to hold different workshops and hold different conversations, because when that first Black Panther movie came out, people were coming from both ends, right? They're coming from the hood with their their perspective on it. They're coming from scholastic points of view with their perspective on what like Afrofuturism is and what this character means to people, to us, right? So I think that, you know, we should definitely have more of that going on, right? Especially going forward. So that is why we're launching the hashtag Wakandaverse initiative. That's really just saying, yo, use the hashtag Wakandaverse, because that's what we got, right? We have a universe of Wakandan just matter. Just like, you know, we really want it to be done properly. You know, Shuri only got 10 issues for her comic. Black Panther's kind of split between his throne, his intergalactic throne, right? And then, you know, being a chairman of the Avengers. Cool, great, but we've got all these other characters who like we want to see more of them. They introduced a new Warbird who's part Shi'ar, part Jabari. They got a new character named Tosin who I've talked about and will be cosplaying later this year. And you know, we definitely want to see those stories really like, you know, out there. We need a Black Panther video game too, bro. Like, come on, like it's like when you have Black Panther, he's always attached to something else, right? He's always with the Avengers in an Avengers game or in an Avengers show. He doesn't have like a lot of standalone things, and for him to have so much going on in Wakanda, like Wakanda is its own culture. They have their own god, they have their own technology, their own unique geography, their own unique way of living, right? So that's what sets them apart from places like Manhattan, where half of Marvel superheroes are. That sets them apart from a place like Gotham, right? Gotham is like its own thing, right? There's so many like things on Batman. I don't even want to get into it right now, but just think about how much stuff like DC uses for Gotham. Like its villains are even bigger than the heroes sometimes. Like that's what I'm saying. Like Wakanda is its own thing, right? Has its own thing. So yeah, we need like a standalone Black Panther game, like ASAP. It doesn't have to reflect what's going on in the movies. All right, you've got 40 years of Black Panther to work with. Okay, you can do the Christopher Priest run, you can do the Reginald Hudlin run, you can do a bit of Ta-Nehisi Coates, you can mix in different writers, different things that happen in Wakanda, and just like make its own standalone game. The Avengers game, people were very upset with that game, for rightfully so too, because the game itself was just really buggy. But listen, that Black Panther expansion pack was lit. Okay, the outfits, the atmosphere, the art, the characters behind it. Yo, as you're walking through the palace, people salute you, yo. That's real. That like that, I felt that. Like that was awesome. So I really think that there should be more standalone Black Panther projects. So does the rest of the alliance. So we are doing that hashtag Wakandaverse. So get that trending, right? Get that trending, because I mean, we have Recast T'Challa, awesome movement that's going on. Shout out to E-Man as always for spearheading that, and everybody who's using that hashtag and really bringing awareness to this, because people on the other side who are making these films, they don't have the same gauge, right? They're not really in our communities like that to really see how much this character means to us. They might hire a few people from those communities maybe to like do writing, or maybe, I don't know, be the gaffer and handle the tape on the set or something like that. But, you know, in the wider scale and the bigger, broader picture, you know, we just need to feel that a bit more. So Wakandaverse, that's the hashtag we're using. We're going to have some imagery to go along with it. We'll have a page on our website outlining what the Wakandaverse is to us and what we think it can be, or and should be. You know, as fans, we have a right to exercise how we feel about a piece of media, how we feel about a piece of art, especially if we are the source material, right? And that's the difference again between something like Gotham and something like Wakanda, right? Gotham is like modeled after like Pittsburgh and New York or something like that. And you know, you can kind of, I mean, that's the American society, right? So it's kind of easy to take from that, because it's so many examples of it. Like, you're not taking from a specific culture or specific cultures, right? So that's why Wakanda has to be handled a bit differently, and we feel that, and we understand that, and we think that whoever's in charge of building it, or whoever is facilitating the building of it, should be aware of that too. All right, so I'll keep talking about this as time goes on. The movie's coming up in November, so I've got plenty of time to talk about it. We're gonna be talking about it at different different places, different times, setting up some conventions, some workshops. We got a lot coming on. We got a lot going on. So we appreciate you listening. Thanks for this update. It was a bit lengthy this time, but that's because I had a lot of great things to say. So I might have to break this down into smaller videos just because. But it's all good. I hope y'all be safe out there. Join us this Saturday again, March 12th, 12 p.m. Our next event is going to be March 26th, also at 12 p.m. Hit the link in our bio, go to the Zoom room. You can join us while we're live, while we're rolling, or just have it marked down in your calendar. So when that date comes up, boom, just jump on in. All right. Y'all be safe out there. Wakanda forever. See you soon. Peace.